Well, good morning. Good Friday morning, Tampa Bay. We are glad you are here. Thank you for listening to us. And, oh my gosh, you should see the monkeyness going on around here before we begin. It's so funny. So, well, this weekend we are having our picnic in the park for our customers. So we're really, really excited about that. And it's going to be at Fort DeSoto Park from 12 until 4 this Saturday. Come on out and check us out. Mr. Pat George is going to be there. Now, I hear you two are dipping out. Is that right? Are you guys coming?
I'm not going to be able to.
I'm not going to be able to go.
How are you guys dipping out? What's up with that?
I gotta spend some time with my wife.
I understand. We're supposed to bring her. That's the
I
plan.
know she plans things way ahead on me, so I got a calendar.
Oh yeah. Now I don't count in that stooge list. Oh, you?
You know, I think she has her hands full with you, Pat. So yeah.
How did you know? Always. Oh, that's right. I forgot about that. They do that, don't they? It's probably a good thing, right? That I'm not bringing you food if you're losing weight. All right, well, we've got some exciting things coming up for you today. We are going to be chatting all about the market, where we are in that market, and we've got a whole bunch of information to share with you moving forward for this hour. And we also have Renaissance Festival tickets.
I know, I saw those tickets. I just went to Ren Fair last weekend.
Oh, you should have told me. We got some.
You know, I've never been to the Renaissance Festival.
We're going to have to
We
give
can
you and your
fix
wife
that
a
if we have
couple.
I'll have to
give
call
away.
in.
Yeah, call
Answer
in.
my phone, Pat.
Yeah,
when I call in.
that probably won't work out so well in radio. You get a little bit of feedback when the
Yeah,
radio's
right.
up and you're trying to call in. In any case, so let me ask you, gentlemen, how do you think the market's doing right now? Because I did all the research. I spent a lot of time on this yesterday so we can know precisely how we're doing. And I've got some stats from Florida Realtors, which is always super delayed, and it drives me nuts.
And Leo's definitely more plugged in with me, but I would say that we're still a pretty strong market, but probably not seeing the gains that we were, month after month.
We're down a little bit in terms of pricing, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I've got a whole bunch of information regarding data, but we as agents, we look at the absorption rate, which means if you take, for example, 12 months worth of homes, that over the last 12 months, how many homes sold? And so Florida Realtors pulls data from not only Hillsborough, but they pull, like for our local market, the Tampa Bay market,
Mm-hmm.
they pull Hillsborough, Pasco, Pinellas, and Hernando, which is a little bit funky because Hernando is actually on their own MLS system, and you can pull data from there, but it's like the most antiquated system ever. So I didn't include Hernando in any of my numbers just for simplicity's sake. And it's a little bit different of a market in that area. But we looked at stuff year over year. I'm going to share with you what Florida Realtors has because it does include those data. But in our local market right now, I pulled Pasco, Hillsborough, and Pinellas. So Pasco County right now, we have 2,318 listings for sale. I pulled just single family. There's no condos or mobile homes or anything included in this.
Wait, no condos, I mean, no mobile homes in Pasco County? Isn't that like half the South?
For my numbers, no, it's not. I just
Easily
pulled,
half the sales.
No, I pulled just single family. And so pending sales, you're dogging on me when you say that, right? Pending sales has 1,100, and then sold in Pasco is only 833 in a 30-day time period. Okay? So Hillsborough County right now.
I'm not dogging on Pasco County. We do about 15 mobile home condition assessments for FHA financing a week.
Oh, I
And they're
believe it.
All in Pasco County.
Well, I didn't send you any, so I don't know. They exist. They keep you in business, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because they're required.
Mm-hmm.
So Hillsborough County has 4,509 properties for sale. Only 2,085 are pending. That's how you know the market's swinging, right? That big gap. And then sold, which is even more important. And when this number starts getting, when the numbers start moving around, you'll see more of a market shift. But sold in Hillsborough County, 1,646 in the last 30 days. And Pinellas County has for sale right now 3,154 homes under contract, 1,363, and then sold data 1,041. So we looked at the absorption rate. Pinellas only has a 3.5 month supply of homes, while Pasco and Hillsborough both at a 3.7 month supply of homes. So that puts us right at 3.6 average for the greater Tampa Bay area. So what that means is if no more homes came on the market, then basically that's how long it would take to sell the existing homes that are for sale.
Weren't we at 2.7 this time last year?
I think so. Hold on, let me look, because I do have that in my data and in my numbers. We were, according to Florida Realtors, January, and this is only January of 2018, and again, the numbers lag. I just pulled real-time data as of yesterday, a 30-day time frame. In January, at the end of 2018, we were at a 2.6 absorption rate. Now, in January of 2019, we're at a 3-month. So you can see I just pulled the numbers right now. We're already at 3.6. That's how the market's starting to shift. So we look at that stuff month over month, year over year.
Now, is there a certain month, number that hits that you say, okay, hey, now we're in a buyer's market?
Oh, I'm so glad you asked that, because you know what? Everybody forgets about the balanced market that's in between, right? Because we have a buyer's market, seller's market, but there's this thing called a balanced market that's in the middle. And so normally in the past, because I've been doing this for 28 years, a balanced market would be a 6 to 12 month supply of homes. Okay. But we've seen that shift a little bit, and I think they're starting to call balanced market a little bit more of a 4-month supply of homes, and that we're almost there. So basically, we've just been in a seller's market for so long with super low inventory levels. Here's the thing: if you're thinking about moving up, right, or changing homes, maybe you perhaps even settled a little bit for your home when you bought it because there wasn't a lot to choose from. Now's the time to think about selling your home and looking for another one, because there'll be more things available for sale. So going over a couple different statistics, again, looking at, and it drives me crazy, like how late this data comes out, because they don't, here we're at March, 15th today? And they don't even have data for February out yet. It won't be out till next week. So it kind of drives me a little bit nuts, because it just feels so delayed. But anyway, January of 2018 over 19, percentage change in terms of the number of closed sales is down 4.2%. So in the 4 metro counties, we had 2,661 homes actually close. Another really interesting piece, and this is a little thing you have to watch, paid in cash sales. So the number of cash sales is down over 14%. So what that means is investors are not getting the cap rates that they once could get, investors-bound cap rates, which means how long does it take them to recoup their money, and at what percentage will they make if they bought in real estate as opposed to the stock market, which clearly has been a better place for money to sit over the last several years. The median home sales price, any idea what you think this is?
Ooh, which county, or just
this is a combination of all 4, which I think skews the numbers a little bit. And I do have averages in the other counties.
I don't know, what do you think?
325?
So the interesting thing is in January...
I was going to say lower than that. I was going to say somewhere around 2.
Yeah, we're definitely in the 2s. We're technically up in terms of sales price by 5.3%. So that's that little bit of lag in the market. I did pull some actual numbers for Pasco, Hillsborough, and Pinellas, which are very current in the last 30 days, so we can look at that. But this is year over year, January 2018 to January 2019. The dollar volume has also increased quite a bit, and our average sales price, which, median can mean... the average price is probably a better indicator, but that's at $287,556, and that's up 5.3% from last year. Median time to contract hasn't changed a whole lot. What do you think that is? How long it takes to get something under contract?
Well, I know if you're not working with Sarah, the number's a lot larger than it should be, right?
That's for sure. Sarah Craigie at the mortgage firm. So median time to contract is about 38 days. And then to actually get to the closing table, 83. So it's only up about 3 days over January of last year. It's not horrible.
Yeah, but does this include the, because I know we had the shutdown for half of January where
it's all in there,
FHA and VA wasn't writing anything.
Right. And you have to look at this. Well, that's a misconception, because some lenders, for example, like Sarah at the mortgage firm, they fund their own deals and they can do it. But what happens is if the government shutdown is too long, they run out of that supply of money, right? Like any other bank. So This is Tampa Home Talk. We'll have more data for you when we come back. And we won't try to bore you guys with too much of the data because I know some people like me actually tune out with a lot of the data.
I love the data.
I know you do. That's why we're sharing some of it. So we got some FEMA flood information coming up for you. That's going to be a big one. Stick around. And then we'll share the numbers in terms of, what that average price looks like in each of the counties. We'll be back in just a minute. Stick around.
Good morning. Welcome back to Tampa Home Talk. You're listening to Katrina, Adam, and Leo about statistics about real estate year over year.
It's the math hour.
It's the math hour, and I love numbers. And you know what numbers I love to have you say time and time again, Katrina?
What's that? The
What?
absorption rate?
No, our off-air number.
Oh, 813-377-2775. Now you can call or text.
Text
If you
math.
want
if
that
you
information.
Want the,
Text
if you want all
math,
these,
yeah.
all these stats.
If you want the data, 813-377-2775. And again, that's our off-air number. And you can call or text 813-377-2775.
So can I ask you a question?
Yes.
Are we talking about an absorption rate with a B or an adsorption rate with a D?
It has a B.
It's a B? It's an absorption rate?
Yes.
Okay, because people confuse ab and adsorption all the time.
I guess it's a valid question, right? I never thought about it.
Yeah, it's like that other one, I can't remember the words. It'll come back to me at the next break. There's another one that people commonly confused, but I can't remember the word at the time because I'm a math guy, not a word guy.
So in Pasco County, let's go back to just the average home prices, right? Because everybody wants to know, what's the average?
Do we want to take bets on which county has the highest?
Oh, I think we know, don't we?
You think it's?
Yeah, go ahead. You guys guess. Which one has the highest average sales price?
Highest average sales price?
Yep.
Oh, that's going to be Pinellas.
Yeah, I would think it's Pinellas.
You're right.
Has to be Pinellas.
Good work. All right, so speaking of which, the average home sales price in Pinellas and actually the list to sales price ratio is up. So it typically looks like it's going a little bit above. So your close price, you're on the average in Pinellas, $363,642. So that's your average. In Hillsborough County, average, again, we're talking closed numbers, sold homes, average is going to be $291,791. And your average sold in Pasco, $233,992.
So let me ask you guys this. So we all knew it was Pinellas right away. Why?
Old money. It's been there for a while.
Well, it's the most concentrated population base, and there's no more land over there, and there's a lot on the water. So I know now all this is just single family, right? So it doesn't pull in all those condos, but if it pulled in the condos, I think the rate, it would go even higher.
We've got one closing next week for $500,000.
Yeah.
And it's a vacation.
That's a small one then.
Airbnb type property.
Yeah.
But it's good return. Really, really good return on investment. Because it allows short-term rentals and that sort of stuff. So take a guess what the most expensive piece of property sold for in Pinellas County.
If it's the past 30 days, would it still count the one that's over there on the beach that Ryan Howard from the Phillies sold?
Must be, because it's $3,250,000.
Oh no, I think his was like
So we must have missed
10
that
million
cut.
or something.
We missed that cut then, because
yeah.
that was just 30 days back. All right, Hillsborough County had the most expensive home sale. The interest, go back to Pasco real quick. That was the list price and the sales price. 3.25. So there was
That's Pinellas, right?
no negotiation in there. Yeah, we'll give you
take
what you
it
want.
or leave it.
Yeah,
I love it.
that's pretty much what it was. Now Pinellas, the active listing is $15,900,000. It's the most expensive thing for sale on the market right now.
Meanwhile, in Pasco, the most expensive thing for sale is $400,000.
No,
Stop
it's actually
beating up Pasco County.
it's almost $3.9 million.
The tax collector's gonna come back here and beat you.
Have a
butt.
beef with
Yeah,
you.
I was about to say, and he looked pretty fit, so I like his
No, I'm
chances.
not going to mess with him. He's got a team of people all with his name on his shirt. I don't know which one's him and which one's his team.
Oh yes, you do.
His cohort looked pretty fit too. So
Yeah, he's the Men in Black guy,
yeah.
the protector. Anyway, sold listings in Hillsborough. $3,255,000 is the most expensive thing that sold, while the average is right at $291,791. And in Pasco, the average home sale price is around almost $234,000, really close, a couple bucks off there. And the most expensive home closed for $1.135 million. So that's probably enough of the data, don't you think, Leo?
I love the data though.
If you want some more information on how the market's doing, how you think your home will fare, and we've got a big surprise coming up for you guys on this next quarter. So it's going to be really soon. I don't know when, but as soon as I know, it's going to be an amazing show. I'm not even going to tell you guys.
Wait,
I'm going to surprise
last
you
time you
with
did
it.
all this, we added an hour. Are we adding another day now?
Not yet, but we might need to add another day just for the topic of the show. All right, so let's talk about a couple things in regards to FEMA, right? Because we've covered this on the show before with regards to the FEMA flood insurance. So this just happened a couple days ago, but FEMA's working on a plan to update and extend the National Flood Insurance Program, which Congress may or may not go along with, as it considers new flood policy. So the proposal could change the way the National Flood Insurance Program calculates rates for homeowners, possibly saving money for some people, but raising the cost significantly for others. So notably, these are in the flood areas or, facing risk factors, right? It's a good way to put it. So rather than levy premiums based on the dollar amount of insurance a homeowner wants, the National Flood Insurance Program might operate more like property insurance, weighing a roster of risk variables and personalizing premiums. I think that's a great idea. I don't know why they haven't done it.
It's what they should have been doing forever. That's why, the private markets, you're seeing them come into play a lot more because they have the data and they can, they're basically rating it the way it should be done.
So here's the big thing. In Florida, about 35% of all homes require flood insurance. So I guess you might imagine, some people think the whole state's in a flood zone, but it's not. FEMA offered a statement basically saying he wants to help customers better understand their flood risk and provide them with more accurate rates based on their unique risk, which is interesting. What do you think about that, insurance guy?
I mean, it seems like a lot of political talk there. I'd love to see it actually happen.
Straight out of Washington in a couple days.
Yeah, I'd love to see them implement it, but I also want to make sure that they're doing it the right way, because it sounds great, but in a lot of factors, you have people that are in Pinellas County, in Hillsborough County, their houses are built to withstand the floods, and they're paying a couple grand in premium.
Yeah.
When if you look at the statistics, most of the flood claims are coming from flood zones where they're not in this high zone and they're paying $500.
Isn't that
a year.
interesting?
So,
it's
they need to, where the balance needs to come is on the other side, and or doing more remapping and that kind of stuff.
And flood happens other places. It's not just Florida, right? So.
Absolutely, and it's not just hurricanes and heavy rainfall. It could come down to mud flows or the Mississippi River expanding and stuff like that.
Right.
So it might not even be raining where you're at, but
it's rising water.
It's rising water.
That's what your homeowners doesn't cover.
Yeah, pretty much.
So Bloomberg says that FEMA documents offer a couple of examples. So 2 homes in the 100-year floodplain. One sits near the edge and to be threatened by only one type of flood event. FEMA says this home might see its costs drop 57%. A second home in the middle of a floodplain facing multiple types of flood threats. I don't know if that's like intercoastal Gulf, maybe, is what I'm thinking. Though he said they could see the flood insurance cost more than double.
I believe it. Risk and reward.
Yeah.
That's right. And I think we're going to see a big shift in those prices. If you live in a flood zone and you could be more susceptible area, I think if those flood premiums double, it'll just saturate the market in that particular type of property when they will try to sell them, a lot of them, because they won't be able to afford it, right? It's all factored into your housing payment. If you're escrow, if you're cash, then you should be okay. But that's where the balance is going to be, I think.
And the newer the home, the better off you'll be, because it'll be built to the height that hopefully your elevation certificate helps you out a little bit.
So this is the thing that's a little bit scary, right? Congress is simultaneously working on its own flood insurance update. Who knows what that looks like? And committees meeting this week will discuss it. So it's unclear how much FEMA's plan is going to influence congressional actions. However, FEMA says it has authority to update the National Flood Insurance Program on its own, even if Congress fails to pass a comprehensive plan. It's kind of interesting, isn't it?
This might be an off-color comment, but what's really good at keeping back floodwaters? And since we're talking about Congress,
Shoot.
a wall.
You had to go there, really?
I believe that's for the 10 o'clock hour.
It's the 11 o'clock.
11 o'clock hour.
No, I'm serious. Seawalls. I mean, that when you have rising floodwaters, especially coming in off the ocean, a good seawall that's high enough will prevent the rising floodwaters from taking out your house.
Now, with your engineering and everything, do you guys also look at failing seawalls and that type of stuff?
Yeah, we take a look at seawalls, and it's interesting to see like the difference between the concrete seawall or the pile-driven seawall using like a vinyl
riprap.
Or riprap, the 3 different techniques and what they do, because it's not like the water's just all of a sudden the huge wave's gonna come over and crash in and pull. What ends up happening is that wave comes in, the water doesn't go down, the next wave comes in, and the water doesn't go down. So it's just like a stair-step effect as the water gets taller and taller. And that's why the wall is important, because if the wave doesn't get above the wall, then you don't have that step effect where it goes into your property.
He's completely being serious about this.
No, absolutely.
All right, you're listening to Tampa Home Talk. Listen, our off-air number is 813-377-2775. You can call or text. We've got questions for me, Leo, Adam. We're going to be a great resource for you. 813-377-2775. And you can call or text that number, 813-377-2775. When we come back, right after the break, we're going to give away some Renaissance Festival tickets. Stick around.
Can't sleep? House falling apart? 3 in the morning? Call Leo.
Leo will take care of it.
Leo will take care of your house falling apart by telling you how bad it is and then recommending people to help fix
Leo
it.
will diagnose it and get you connected to the right people. Come on now.
What? We get to hear Adam's commercial during the breaks. We get mine as the lead back into the show.
I swear. I talked to Charlie about it. I'm going to email him and CC you on it just so you know.
It's kind of weird because I'm like looking at Adam. I hear Adam, but his mouth isn't moving. He's like the best ventriloquist in the world at 8:15 in the morning.
If you have
my special skill.
If you have structural problems, really, you can reach out to Leo. Just call or text 813-377-2775. Just text Leo. We'll get you hooked up.
Yeah, I'll let you know why your house is falling apart. Or what we end up doing a lot is letting you know that your house isn't falling apart when you go to list and sell it.
And how to fix it.
And how to fix it. Well, if it's not falling apart, there's nothing to fix.
That's right. So, and that's exactly what we're going to talk about is how to prepare for a home inspection. And as you know, we are big advocates of pre-listing inspections. And we'll talk about that in just a second. Before we do, Pat, how about we give away some Renaissance Festival tickets?
I like that idea.
I'm going to give away 4 pairs of tickets, okay?
That's 8 tickets.
That's 8 tickets, 4 pairs. Call right now. Our studio call-in lines are 888-404-1010. Pat George is going to hook you up and take your information. We'll give you a couple tickets for the Renaissance Festival.
888-404-1010. 1010.
You remember that one?
Gotta go slow.
888-404. Money Talk 1010.
1010. I think we caused like 2 or 3 traffic accidents right now.
Okay, 888. No accidents.
Do not
Pat
call
George
while
does not
driving.
want to report
Do
anymore.
not call while driving.
888-404-1010. We're going to give away some tickets for the Renaissance Festival. And if you have a question about anything we're talking about or you're listening, you want to give some feedback, some comments, we'll take it. Go ahead and give it to Pat George, and we'll be happy to pass it on. If you want to talk on
I got
air,
a question.
let us know. Yes.
I hear the phones in the background with Pat. But how did you end up with Renaissance Techs to...
Media tickets?
Oh, just media tickets.
Yeah.
Oh, awesome.
We're blessed.
And now
I
what's the
didn't even do
difference
the work,
between
so
the
thank you.
black ones and the gray ones?
So I don't know. This is what they gave us. These are technically media. You can see on the bottom, media complimentary. And those are extras. Not a whole lot of difference other than the dates.
It looks like more than 8. Is one pair for each hour?
We're going to give out some more. Maybe next hour, maybe next week.
I've never seen the gray ones. I've seen the black ones.
Media.
What I found interesting is there's a pizza chain that's sponsoring the Ren Fair.
Yes, there is.
And there was a pizza eating contest when I was there this past weekend.
Oh my goodness.
So it was the beard competition. So we had a bunch of people with most unique, most scraggly, most trimmed beard.
Oh, look at that. We got a text. Someone's looking for Leo. We're going to get back to you after the
Excellent.
show.
And that's right after that. After you got to admire all the manly beards, they got to just stuff their face with as much pizza as possible in a 5-minute period.
And if I'm reading the back of this ticket correctly, I think I probably could have eaten maybe 2.5 boxes of pizza. I really think I would have had a good shot because this particular brand,
worse than a beer belly.
this particular brand of pizza is my favorite of the chain pizzas.
Is it?
Is that the one that
crush
gives you little garlic butter and the little peppercini?
It is the one with the flavored crust, or the original one.
They
with
all
the
have flavored crust now.
They were the first.
Totally endorsing them. Loves them.
Yeah, without mentioning their name. But now, if you think you know, let's. If you think you know what pizza chain we're talking about, text the name of the pizza chain to
813-377-2775.
And we'll give you a couple Renaissance tickets. Good?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that works. 813-377-2775. Text who you think the pizza chain is that we're talking about.
And no more clues.
No more clues.
813-377-2775. Just text it. The first one that comes in is going to get the Renaissance
And there's a coupon for this particular brand of pizza on the back of the ticket.
All right, so let's talk about how to prepare for a home inspection, Leo, because there's nothing you guys like better than when you show up at a property and everything's stored in the garage and you can't get to anything.
No, there is one thing we like better, and that's the hoarder house, where you can't walk around the house. And you can't get to any of the outlets or the windows.
How could I possibly
The
forget?
hoarder house.
Had a couple of those, haven't we?
Oh, yes, yes. And you know where those hoarder houses have been?
Pinellas.
Yeah,
Of course.
of course. They ran out of space. They can't build onto their own property. They can't put a shed or an addition, so they just store stuff in the attic, in the living room, in the dining room,
So that
down the
last
hallway.
hoarder house you and I did is almost redone. I'll have to let you know when it's finished.
Well, the carpeting and flooring underneath must be pristine once you remove all the stuff that hasn't been moved in decades.
No dust, right?
Yeah, well, the dust is everywhere.
All right, so here's the deal. Like, I had a listing appointment this week. I met with a guy that owns a triplex, okay?
Triplex.
Hasn't been to the property much. We love those properties. We love selling multifamily homes, in-law suite type homes. We just love selling those. But what I tell many, many people, especially properties like that are not occupied by the owner, get a pre-listing home inspection. And the reason why is you don't want the buyer to find out what's wrong with your home and then cancel. So a lot of sellers don't want to come off, $500 to do a pre-listing inspection, but I will tell you it'll be money very, very well spent, especially as we're moving into a shifting market. Remember we discussed we've got a 3.6 month supply of homes average in the greater Tampa Bay area. So it's really important because more homes are coming on the market. The other thing too that we didn't talk about is foreclosures are on the rise. So we actually have, hold on, where's the data I pulled
Foreclosures are on the rise.
Yes, we have an influx of foreclosures hitting the market. As a matter of fact, in Tampa, last month, they're up over 42%. So I think these are some of those stagnant homes that have been sitting for a while, and they're finally getting through the process to foreclose on them or getting around.
When I hear a number that is that high in a jump, I need to know the actual number, because 42%.
42.42.
Yeah, so we went from 4 to 6 or 7, or did we go from 40 to 70? Did we
So
go from 400 to 700?
I'll pull the information before we get back to the next break because I had that.
'Cause that's a huge
So that
jump.
does count initial foreclosure filing. So the second someone files a list pendants, that is counted in there. So those are up pretty significantly.
Are those
Wow.
tax foreclosures like we heard last week, the prediction?
It could be if there's a list pendants file.
Yeah.
I imagine all of that's included in that. I don't think that's the bulk of it, but they are on the rise. So that's going to add to our inventory levels as well. And if you're a traditional seller and you think you don't compete with a foreclosure, I have to tell you you're wrong, because at the end of the day, it's about value, right? So you'll have that buyer, and it's a bigger percentage that wants a move-in ready home, but you'll see more and more people as inventory rises look for that deal.
Return of the 203K,
Yeah, you will see a ton of 203K.
which is a mortgage where you have your renovation loan built into the mortgage for one payment.
All right, so let's talk about the prepare for an inspection. So if the house is empty, of course, we need to make sure the utilities are on. What else can we tell them, Leo, if the house is empty? How do we prepare?
Well, just I like a well-staged house, a properly staged house. It gives your buyers perspective of the different rooms. Because if you just walk into a big empty room, you can't tell how a whole furniture set or a bed's going to look. So a well-staged home is what I like walking into. Completely empty.
You're not there to buy it. You're there to inspect it.
I still like the look of a well-staged home.
He is also a real estate investor. He knows these things.
Yeah, so
right?
when you well-stage a home also, and you give the inspector soap in the bathroom and the kitchen so he can wash his hands after he's been in the attic and after he's crawled around in your crawl space, that all comes with a well-staged home.
I suppose.
And that's
So,
important.
some of the tips on here, and I think you should chime in because they'll be better, but this came from Florida Realtors, which pulled some information from Pillars to Post. But essentially, they're saying make sure the electrical sockets and fixtures and switches and fans work. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Which you can tell through staging.
Confirm smoke and carbon monoxide detectors operate if something doesn't get checked near enough.
Yeah, I have a stick. I just poke it up in the air and...
So check that faucets and toilets run properly and don't leak. Now, when we see this being a big deal, when it's a big home, empty nesters, let's say it's a 2-story home, family's moved out, it's only the husband and the wife back, nobody's upstairs, ever. So when you don't operate things like toilets and faucets,
yeah, everything
what
dries
happens?
out. Yeah, the pipes start to dry out, the sealant starts to dry out, and next time you run it, it just kind of just comes loose and all over the place.
Yeah, so that's the thing. And I mean, I could totally see that, right? People are in a property for sometimes a couple of hours for an inspection. So what happens if somebody uses the bathroom upstairs and no one's used that bathroom for years?
Water claim.
I mean, it could be, yeah.
I think it's called an upper decker.
So clean the stove and the oven so they won't smoke and set off the alarms. Has that ever happened to you?
Self-clean. No, because we don't leave the ovens on long enough
That's what I
to
was
do
thinking.
something like that.
Okay, I didn't like that tip, but it was on.
Yeah, sometimes we've almost set a house on fire by turning the heater on because all the dust and
On
stuff
I can
on
see
the
that, yeah.
on
heat
the
strip.
coil, yeah, on the heat strip. So it smelled like a fire, and I just turned the heater off right away.
Yeah,
So
it smells awful the second you turn the heat on. It really
Yeah.
does. Most houses. So verify doors and windows all open and close and all hardware works. What are some things you look for if the doors and windows don't open?
well, I mean, if the doors and windows don't open, depends on the age of the home. It could be settlement. It could be painted shut. I mean, they could just need some WD-40.
Yeah.
So
But if windows start to, I mean, that's a big sign of settlement, right? If
Yeah.
you can't open and close windows because they're shifted.
yeah, in these presentations I give about structural damage, I say I don't look at the crack first. I look at doors and windows first. I look for, am I able to use and operate them? Because they're weak points. You put a hole in a load-bearing wall, that's going to be your weak point. So what's happening at my weak points?
Absolutely.
Interesting. It's good to know.
Clear obstructions around furnace, water heaters, and attic access. That's a big one. That should be on the top of the list, don't you think?
I think that's the most important one. We need access to your major components. We can't get to your water heater. We can't get in your attic. We can't move around in your attic.
Your electrical box, which is in the garage.
Electrical box, which is, I had one inspection where it was a Renault. I opened the main panel and I saw this little 100 amp breaker that wasn't labeled. And I'm like, okay, it must be a sub panel because I don't see all the little switches I'm used to seeing for the whole house. I spent 45 minutes looking for the sub panel in the house. Turns out the drywall installer thought it wasn't a live panel, so he just drywalled over it.
Wow. That's an interesting one.
Yeah, and this was to close a permit. Guess what didn't happen?
That permit didn't get closed like that.
Permit's still open.
Wow.
So make sure I would say that would be the number one tip at the top of the list. That's what we tell our sellers because we know a lot of times you guys have to store stuff in the garage. Buyer understands that it's okay. We just have to make sure a couple things happen. It either gets out before the inspector comes or there's a very clear path where they can get in the attic, check out the hot water heater, and get to the electrical box.
That's important.
Those are the three biggest things I would say in the garage and about the garage because that's where everything goes.
Yeah, because if we can't get in the attic, we can't do our roof inspection properly. If we can't get to your electrical panel, we can't do the electrical inspection properly, and you'll fail a 4-point in both of those.
And there'll likely be a trip fee because you got to come back.
Mm-hmm.
Right? All right, so leave all keys for outbuildings and exterior electrical boxes. This could be important because you want to inspect everything, right, when you're there. Remove brush and debris from the exterior inspection points. That's a big deal, huh?
Yeah.
If you have foliage touching the house and bushes.
Those are easy defects. I love the 2.5-year-old tree growing out of the gutters. Because if you can see it from the ground, it looks like a small little shrub that you think is only 6 months old. That's probably 3 years old.
Isn't that interesting? Oh my gosh. All right, gather documentation for renovations and repairs that have been made. This could be important, right? If you guys see a big addition and you don't see anything on the county website with regards to permits or any of that, they probably would need to have all that documentation.
Yeah, but it could also mean that the renovation happened a while ago. It's just not the county records don't go back that far.
Which we had happen the other day, didn't
Yeah.
we? All right, you also want to provide a sketch showing the location of the septic tank and the well. Now, this is not something you inspect, right?
Well,
Or do
we do a cursory inspection. We're not
Okay.
going to be doing the master plumber version, but we do a cursory inspection.
All right, so when we come back right after the break, we're going to give you 3 more tips, and we'll just finalize with some listings and a couple other details. Pat, when we come back, let me know who we have in terms of winners for the Renaissance Festival, and if we had any questions. Are there any tickets left?
Yes, we have a couple left, and you already should have a tweet from me.
All right, thank you. I appreciate that. And studio call-in lines, 888-404-1010 to get your Renaissance tickets, 888-404-1010.
Welcome back to Tampa Home Talk. This is Katrina Madewell and Adam
are?
Talley and Leo Kane with Tampa Home Talk, and we're talking about.
You are clearly not.
I'm clearly
You're
not
out of
Katrina
touch.
Adam
Madewell.
always takes us back out of the third break.
Oh.
You just forgot who he was for a second.
This is my first time in the actual 8 o'clock hour. I've usually slide back in at 9.
He's still snoozing at this time.
Yeah. Give me a break on my first try here. But we are talking about how to prepare your home for an inspection, and I think Katrina had 3 more little tips for us
So
here.
remove your pets, okay? So remove and crate your pets. The last
Definitely.
thing you guys want to do is be kissing on a Rottweiler.
My dog is friendly.
Until the UPS guy or Leo gets there.
Yeah, my dog's friendly. I have a dog too, and you know where I put my dog when friends come over? In a box.
Now, you want to plan to be away for at least 3 hours, sometimes more. Depends on how fast or slow your inspector is, and it depends on how big your home is.
You mean you shouldn't be right behind
No.
Leo's back every time he's looking at something, trying to explain what it is?
Here's the thing. We had this question yesterday from a seller, and they're like, they want it to be there. We're like, no. Like, first of all, you have to understand how the contract's written. The buyer cannot come and go in and out of the house as much as they want during the contract period. So they've got their time before they make the offer when they're showing it. If they can schedule as many showings as they want, but once they make the offer and they're under contract, the next time they can get in to see it is during their inspection. And technically, that's the last time before their final walkthrough when the sellers are out. So you have to think, these guys are getting all their stuff packed up. They're getting ready to go. They need that space to be able to do that without you coming and going. Some sellers are really nice and accommodating, but per your contract, you don't have that right. So sellers, vacate for the inspection. Give the buyers that full range of 2, 3, maybe 4 hours max to roam around the property, look at stuff, figure out where their bed's going to go, figure out they're going to have enough closet space, all that kind of fun stuff while the inspector's checking out the house. Because that's usually what happens, right? Sometimes they follow you around, but they're normally kind of getting a feel for how stuff's going to go and where it's going to fit.
I'm just doing my thing. If they want to follow me around, they usually end up in someone who's like, I don't want to be in your pictures. Well, then get out of the room.
What percentage of people follow you? What'd you
The
say?
sellers?
Yeah. Well, no, the sellers aren't usually there, are they?
Yeah, I mean,
They're
if
gone usually.
the
Sellers are
buyers
probably-
get curious. I mean, we train our inspectors to let the buyers and sellers know that during this part of the inspection, which is the first 45 minutes, we have to be left alone because we're going into areas we don't want to be followed.
Yeah.
The roofs, the attics, the crawl spaces.
Well, here's the thing I'll tell you from a real estate standpoint, because we've been there when you guys do the inspections, it slows you down. So if you guys are in the way, it totally slows you down. The one thing you don't know is, I promise you're going to see everything, because they're going to do a thorough walkthrough with you at the end. They're going to show you all the pictures they found, including the ones on the roof and in the attic, which you are not going because you're not insured to be up there. And so
We are.
You are. But
Why did you look at me and say we're not insured to
because
be
the
up there?
buyers are not. They
No,
can't
the
get
buyers
up there.
aren't.
Yeah. Have you had buyers try to follow you up the attic?
Once, and I told them not to, and I fell through the attic. That's the main
What?
reason.
Are you kidding me?
No, it was
Turn
one of
your
those
mic
things
up,
where they
Katrina.
using the attic as storage, and I don't know if it was me who stepped in between two trusses or the thing that was being stored just shifted because I was walking around. But the guy came up and I told him not to. I told him, don't follow me up there because I have a tendency to fall through an attic when people do. And sure enough, a big Christmas decorations goes right through the ceiling.
So how many
you were on
attics
the
have you?
trusses?
Oh,
Were
sorry.
were you on the beams or?
I thought I was on the beams, but then again, there was I think it was just the storage and the combination of him coming up there and me being distracted. I don't know. Something happened where Christmas decorations go through the ceiling.
Oh my gosh! All right.
How many times? Let me ask this:
Go
how many
ahead.
times when you're up in the attic, you're up there and you're surprised by something living up in there that you told the homeowner about, like a squirrel, a rat,
I mean, we see evidence of rat droppings all the time in attics. I mean, I don't really see rats because we're not up there during the crepuscular times of the day, which would be dawn and dusk. Adam's looking at me.
I got
So
you.
the last tip before Pat George jumps into his recent adieu, if you will, is pre-listing home inspection. Fix these problems before the buyer finds them.
Oh yeah, that'd be nice if we give you a report about all these defects and you actually do something about it, or just make it part of the seller's disclosure and do nothing about it.
Yes, but at least, and that's a valid point, because if a buyer makes an offer, let's say we're representing you as the seller, buyer makes an offer with a pretty hefty escrow deposit, we've already disclosed this and it's attached to your seller's disclosure, guess what they're not getting out for? It's an as-is contract. Mm-hmm. So they can get out for the right to inspect, but there could be fight over their escrow if they choose not to fix it. But my suggestion would be to fix anything major, safety defects, anything that would create an issue on the 4-point for the wind mitigation, which would be...
So 4-point is going to be the 4 main systems of your home. So that's going to be plumbing, including the water heater, your electrical box, the AC and heat system, and then your roof. Wind mitigation is all about credit, so it's not necessary. But I would say
It'll save you money.
If your home is
Yeah, we
older
like to
than
save money,
if your
yeah.
home's older than 15 years old and the roof is newer than that, I would always recommend getting a wind mitigation because it makes a big
What
deal.
are some of the major safety items you see, Leo, on those inspections?
The biggest ones that we see are going to be, for a 4-point, will mostly be outlet wiring. 3-pronged outlets that aren't grounded, that have the 3 prongs, they need to be grounded.
Why is that important? What does it mean to be grounded?
Well, when you're grounded, you're more at ease and more.
Yeah.
calm with yourself.
Besides that.
It means that when the electrical appliance is shocking, it has a place to go rather than through you, is basically what it is. And then the GFCIs, which are in the kitchens and wet areas, is when you have a ground fault, when the ground is traveling towards the ground, it turns the whole outlet off. So
And the older homes didn't have those.
the older homes don't need to have those until they're updated. So we see those. We see a lot of leaking drains. I mean, one of the items on the 4-point is a sign of an active leak, which is your meter spinning at the street. But so many inspectors don't actually know that. They just think it's like a kitchen sink drain leaking. They think that's called an active leak, but it's really is your meter spinning, and there's just water going into the ground. Mm-hmm. That's what that one's on the 4-point for. But then they updated the 4-point form to have a separate section for just all your appliances and your sinks and drains to see if those are leaking as well.
Now, Pat, you had a big deal in your house, right? That could seriously impact the inspection.
Well, we don't have enough time to do it justice, but I will tell you this. After the break, if you continue to listen, I was about 2 laundry loads away from my house burning down. And what I found, because I did an inspection that I don't think Leo does inspections like this. He's not going to go and open appliances, but I did one because I had to repair something. And what I found was shocking. And I think a lot of homes are like that.
So we're going to talk about that. You know what you should do, Pat? You should run on over, grab Mark Steckman, and have him chime in for the next hour, don't you think?
I think I will try that.
All right. Our off-air number is 813-377-2775. We loved hanging out with you today. Hopefully we brought you some value. If you need some help getting your home ready, that's where Leo and I come in, and Adam will get you your insurance on the next one. You can call or text us 813-377-2775. We would love the opportunity to help you. And that's our job. We help people move in, move out, move up, and build some wealth through real estate. So love where you live or we'll fix it. We've got that 90-day love where you live guarantee. Again, 813-377-2775. And we're out for about 5 minutes. We'll be back.
Yeah.
Stick around for the 9 o'clock hour. It feels so weird.
Don't go
We'll be
anywhere.
back in a few. All right, bye.